probably not as excited today as they were yesterday.
I'm not sure, Mace.
Really?
I'm not sure. I
thought DJ Moore was the bait to try to get Max Crosby. So we'll talk a little bit about some of that.
I just thought it was a good deal in general, but if it was a Max Crosby situation,
yeah, that was my angle there, and I'd like to dive into it a little bit. We got a lot going on. We're gonna have Jocko coming on. Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah, Jocko confirmed for 12:20. We got to talk about the Badgers' big win. They've got one game left against Purdue.
Where are the Packers going to get in free agency? What are we doing here?
And we got to talk about Nolan Winter's injury as well, and we'll go over that. I'm going to pick on your brain a little bit, as I teased on 9 to noon, about why things go differently after halftime. Like how do teams just completely change personalities and production? So like mentally and physically. So I want to jump into that. We're going to talk about, like you said, Packers and free agency. We're going to talk some Brewers today. See some, we've got some sound back from Timmy and Tommy. We'll get to that. And we're just going to have fun today. Like, let's go. Let's go.
What is today? Thursday?
Yeah. I know you know what? You're at Casa de Crosby right now. But if you were here right now, like I can't see across.
It's that foggy.
Yeah. Like I can see the parking lot, but at the end of the parking lot, the world ends. And it is.
That's surprising at like noon, right? I mean, I guess is this one of the Wisconsin warm up where everything's kind of almost evaporating, all that moisture from the snow and the cold. It just kind of sits in the air for a little bit. I remember those days. I'd be like, all right, we're getting close. And then about a week from now, a snowstorm comes in and crushes your soul.
It's true. Yeah, you're not wrong. So we'll keep our eyes on that. All right. Well, you know what? Since DJ Moore got traded, let's start with the Bears and what this means for the NFC North.
Yeah.
Because DJ Moore gets traded, DJ Moore and it hasn't happened yet because the league year hasn't started yet. But DJ Moore, the 5th round pick, and a 5th round pick go to the Bills for a 2nd rounder. Now, first of all, the Bills had nobody on offense this year. Like it was Josh Allen. So this makes sense for the Buffalo Bills to go and get a wide receiver. I'm not sure DJ Moore is the guy, but he's a guy and he will help. And
I think I think the Bears look at, okay, obviously DJ Moore made a big play against the Packers. I mean, he did some things.
He made plays.
But he has a huge number as well. Like, I mean, what, $23 million he's owed next year?
Yeah.
And so if they feel like they have if they felt like they could get value out of him and they have a good enough room, I think honestly a good move from Chicago. Like I said, I thought DJ Moore was maybe some of that trade bait if they're going to get Max Crosby, but if they're able to offload his contract, that's another, maybe, flag here where we're saying, are they going to be in the conversation to go get Max Crosby? I mean, they just got a 2nd round draft pick, right?
Yes, they did. Well, and the other, all right. So starting with the Bills makes sense for the Bills. Like they needed a wide receiver. Sure. They got a wide receiver. But now as we go and look at from the Bears perspective, and there's lots of ways to spin this, like about Max Crosby. Another thing I'm hearing now is, could they be in for the Ravens center? Because Dahlman, and we talked about this yesterday, and we should get to this as well today on today's show, about Drew Dahlman retiring at 27.
Yeah.
The Ravens center is like the number 2 overall free agent who's available. He's about to get a bucket of money. Does this now with the Bears opening up that money that was owed to DJ Moore and having that opening, could they now be in play for this kid, Lindenbottom?
If I'm them, I wouldn't spend any more. They spent a ton of money on that offensive line last year. So if I'm them, I'm trying to maybe get like a value guy at center and then, seeing who you have on your roster and then going and drafting somebody. Okay. That's what I would do. Just because of the quality of that offensive line, like how much money they invested last offseason, it'd be hard for me to imagine going and getting that, just going paying top dollar for another offensive lineman at this moment. Yeah. But my question there too, though, is like, do you think it is worth, say this was the Green Bay Packers, like Max Crosby for a trade, obviously younger elite, like he's a top edge rusher.
Yep.
Or like a Trey Hendrickson, because he's going to be available. Like, do you go get the 31-year-old? Right? Yeah, maybe at a value. You don't have to give up any draft capital to do that. I'm leaning towards a Trey Hendrickson, honestly.
So if you're the Packers.
If I'm the Packers.
If I'm the Packers, yeah. I 100%
honestly,
agree.
I'd kick the tires on Trey Hendrickson right now for the Green Bay Packers.
Yes, totally agree. I don't think after trading 2 first-rounders for Micah Parsons, the Raiders have said they want 2 first-rounders.
Yeah,
for Max Crosby. I think, that obviously wouldn't make sense, and I don't even know if the Packers would be allowed to do that because you can only trade so many first-rounders. But it's not the NBA, right?
Yeah, exactly.
but I'm intrigued by Trey. And listen, if the rumors are true, and if they kicked the tires on Trey Hendrickson last year, and if they talked to the Bengals and they talked to Trey, and it didn't work out, like Trey ended up staying with the Bengals figured it out, they made it work, and then they were a mess. They were absolutely terrible, but he was still productive last year. I mean, he might not think like it's still right?
He's what I think we are all hoping Lucas Van Ness becomes, right? In my mind, like kind of a bigger, more physical, like energy guy. He's going to give max effort all the time. And I think a guy like that on the other side with Micah Parsons, that defense would be unbelievable. Like I just feel like it would be unstoppable. Or I guess they would stop everyone. They'd be unbeatable. So yeah, I would love to see him kick the tires. Do you think that with Rashawn Gary, I saw that it's like, obviously they did Xavier McKinney's restructure. They're working on some of these restructure.
Saved $4+ million there.
Yeah. So, I mean, you got to think they're doing all that due diligence on Rashawn Gary, Elton Jenkins. Like, are we keeping these guys? If they do agree to a pay cut, what does that number look like? Because I remember this was the Jordy Nelson thing, right? Like when they want to get rid of somebody, they'll come at it and be like, hey, Rashawn, like, if you take $5 million a year next year, we'll keep you around. And it's like,
he's gonna say
I'm
no,
gonna go.
Right?
He'll say no all day.
Yep.
Because somebody will pay him.
Right.
Even if he takes a pay cut somewhere else, I mean, someone's gonna pay him $15 million a year.
Yeah, of course.
He is a proven edge rusher in the NFL.
He's a proven 2. He's not a proven 1, but he's a proven 2.
And everybody needs 2 guys. Like they need that guy.
Trey Hendrickson last year, he did have the hip and pelvis injury, so he only played 7 games. He had 4 sacks in the 7 games. So if you extrapolate that over 17 games, if he were to play a full season, he's still double digits. Not quite the 17 and a half he had,
which is pretty good,
2 seasons before that, but double digits is a number the Packers would take right now at their number 2, right? If they could get, if I told you right now that Rashawn Gary will get 12 sacks next year, would you consider bringing him back?
Yes. Right. I mean, I'd say all day, but you're still trying to restructure his contract.
Absolutely. Right. You're still trying to restructure it. And I can't guarantee he's going to get 12 sacks. He might get 6.5. Like you just don't know with that guy.
I mean, with how it went this year. But I do think too, like, let's not discount the fact that Lucas Van Ness is still on this team.
Absolutely.
If he's healthy and all of those things, he showed some sparks of greatness early on in that season. Right. And so I think he's going to continue to progress.
Right.
And he's a guy that I think you get rid of Rashawn Gary, he's going to be that true locked in number 2 unless you go get another player.
So do you think there's a chance that the Packers are not in the market for an edge because they believe that LVN can be that guy and they'll just figure out the rest of it?
I'd be surprised if they went and paid top dollar for another edge rusher, especially, I guess, it's Trey Hendrickson has a track record. I think, and we've talked about this so much on the show, that is the type of player that you want, right? A fiery, maybe veteran guy that's going to work hard, show up every day, do the stuff. But then again, you're concerned he only played 7 games last year, right? In the midst of all the stuff. But if he comes out of that and he's healthy, I mean, that is the type of guy. It's not Julius Peppers, because Julius Peppers is a Hall of Famer and like ridiculous, but it's that type of signing where it's a guy that's kind of, a little bit older, into, towards the end of their career. Can we squeeze out a year or 2 of dominant performance and find a way?
All right. So in 2021, when Trey Hendrickson left the Saints to go to the Bengals, This is kind of an interesting quirk. He made $19 million his first year, then $12 million his second year, then $18 his third year, then $15 his fourth year. Then he was a free agent. He was going to sit out. He ended up agreeing to a 1-year, $27 million deal.
Yeah.
But then he only played 7 games, 4 sacks. What do you think the number would be for Trey Hendrickson, 31 years old, coming off an injury? Still, the 2 years before this, 17 and a half sacks both seasons. Now 4 sacks in 7 games this year, coming off an injury, expected to be healthy for the start of the season, but still no spring chicken.
Yeah. And what is the dead cap if you release Rashawn Gary? Is it like 19? Is it some?
Yeah,
it's kind of a stupid high number, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. What is?
I think you save $9.5 million. So I think he was like expected to make 27 or 28 million
17,
this year.
17 for 20. Yeah,
cap?
17 million is the dead.
Okay.
The dead
Yeah,
cap.
so it was
is
like
17.
$9.5 million they were saving if they release him. Yeah.
Actually, I think they might be saving 11. Oh no.
Okay, so
yeah,
I think he's at 27.
The AI says he's at 28. So same thing. If they hold him to post June 1st, the dead cap goes down to 8.5.
Oh, okay.
So I think they have to hold him till that June 1st number, unless they can trade him.
See, right? I think in my mind, I'm like, okay, if you could get Trey Hendrickson for 15, like on a 2-year deal or something like that, kick the tires.
I'm for it. I just don't know that that's where they're going to think they need to spend the money. Even if they get rid of Rashawn Gary, I don't know if that Trey Hendrickson.
Yeah, it's a deep draft for edge guys too. So that second round pick could be, somebody could fall in your lap that you are really high on, and you go and you grab that edge rusher right there.
If I'm a Bears fan, after the sadness of Dahlman retiring yesterday, and I still think like that's going to be a bigger hit, I'm actually really happy with this trade, because I think they have really strong, with Adunze and with that other kid who ended up blowing up at the end of the year.
The rookie, right?
Yeah. Like they have 2 great, I think potentially great receivers. So I don't know that they need a DJ Moore. Obviously, Loveland blew up at the end of the year, and as their tight end, Tucker Kraft light could end up being the second best tight end in the league after Tucker Kraft. He was really good last year.
Exactly.
And they add a second rounder, as you just said, in a strong draft. I like this move for, like, I hate to say I like this move for the Bears, but I like this move for the Bears.
And they were able to just move on from a huge contract.
Exactly.
Well.
All signs point to Bears made a smart decision.
I know.
It
feels uncomfortable.
It really does, Mace. Like I want to throw up a little bit.
Yeah, I don't like that.
No. Lots to get to on today's show. The Milwaukee Bucks with another tremendous loss last night.
Yeah, what happened last night there, Mitch?
Well, they were up 13 at the end of the first quarter, 38-25.
I was watching early and I'm like, all right, like here we go. And like I liked how they were playing. I mean, Kuzma was taking it to the hoop, like throwing it down.
After not playing the game before. Like none of this makes sense. Like I don't know. I never heard from Doc why he didn't play against the Celtics, but the Bucks put up 71 in the first half, 42 in the second half.
Yeah, like what is going on?
Right. Like, and they did the same thing against the Bulls when they were up by 20 something and then got destroyed in the second half. The Celtics, they were down, but they cut it to 9 at one point and then end up losing by 27. They cut it to 9 early in the second, right away after halftime. It is just uglier and uglier and uglier. And like, there's no other words. Like there's no rhyme or reason. There's almost no sense in breaking down what they're doing, because they're not doing anything. Like, well,
you said it. If they lost to the Hawks, is the season over, right? So, I mean, it's pretty much done. And watching that game at parts of it last night, I'm just like, and I said this the other day, they don't play like, you can't hang your hat on any kind of style of basketball. Like, what are they doing? Like, there were moments a little bit early in that game, again, where they took a big lead, where they were, doing some like backdoor cuts. They were doing some things like moving, had some energy on the offensive side of the ball. And then it just felt like all of a sudden it went to, let's spread it out. Like, well, you kind of get Sims or like somebody just kind of standing, like, blocking somebody off. we're going to just try to do one-on-ones all day. And I think that's not sustainable unless you have a superstar in that spot, right? Like these aren't superstars trying to like take over and play one-on-one matchups the whole game. Like the Hawks adjusted, the Bucks don't adjust. It just feels like at halftime, it's just like, what's the plan coming out? One image that represents this Bucks team really well, and it was a shot from above the hoop, and there's 3 Bucks players under the basket. Like I think it's shot comes off the rim, and 3 of them. I think Giannis went up, kind of touched it with his hand, and the other 2 guys are just watching, and the Hawks end up getting the rebound.
Mason, do you mean this play?
In the corner,
you got it.
No. Okongwu the rebound. Atlanta firmly in control. 16-point lead, 4:30 remaining. Alexander Walker can't hit, and Daniels there for the tip. Doc Rivers needs another timeout. An 18-point Atlanta lead. Well, Jay, you said it. Just no one puts a body on Dyson Daniels, and then frustration spills over for Giannis in the aftermath. Boom. And that is a technical foul.
Giannis lost it.
A very good throwing motion. Yeah. Spring training has started.
So after Daniels got that basket, like that, Doc calls timeout and Rollins has the ball, and Giannis like screams at him to give him the ball. He takes the ball and he just throws it as hard as he can at the stanchion under the basket. It's
I love it.
That we didn't even talk before the show about that play, but you couldn't have, like, you are 1,000% correct, Mason Crosby.
Yeah.
Like that was 3 guys around it. Giannis kind of jumps, everybody else standing around, and Daniel is like, all right, I'm going to take this offensive rebound and tap it in because nobody's doing anything.
It's crazy.
It's like I mean, listen, I play Sunday mornings at the J, and I get off that's like me getting an offensive rebound because nobody's doing anything. Like it's like the lack of effort is so crazy.
The fact that a shot comes up and nobody like finds someone to put a back to, like, just go block out, go put a hand on somebody.
Or goes to the basket. I mean, everybody just stands.
I think I just saw it. It's like, and unfortunately, like the guy that does, I think is like the culprit a lot is Miles Turner when he's on the.
He's just standing there.
He just watches. He does not play a physical brand of basketball where he's gonna like get a hand and get a body on somebody and then get rebounds. Like, and that's pretty frustrating when a guy like that's on the court and you're not expecting him to be getting boards on that defensive rebounds.
Yeah. Well, we'll see if we get back to some Bucks talk in the show, but we got to get to Jocko coming up. Mike Jocko, the sports director at the NBC affiliate in Madison. We're going to talk some Badgers with him, and we're going to talk some Packers with him because he's covering both, and it's that like free, like you can smell free agency coming.
It's right.
It's like, who's going to make that big move? What are the Packers going to do? 414-677-1250 is the Nicolay Law talk and text line. 414-677-1250. Your thoughts on the Bears trade? DJ Moore, not official yet because the league year hasn't started, but DJ Moore and a 5th rounder to the Bills for a 2nd rounder. So the Bears pick up a 2nd rounder. Also, why, if you have a theory on why the Bucs stink so much that we haven't got to, it could be ownership, it could be coaching, it could be effort. It's everything. I mean, it's literally everything at this point.
It's all things.
Like just throw it into the cauldron, add some cheese, and call it a stew. I mean, it's what it is. Mike Jocko coming up next here on the Mason Crosby Show, presented by Verizon. This is what the fog feels like here in the state of Wisconsin. I don't know, Northeast Wisconsin, Northwest Wisconsin. Are you guys feeling the fog as well? Is this just a Southeast Wisconsin thing? Let us know on the text line 414-677-1250. This is the Mason Crosby Show presented by Verizon. And we saw this happen last night.
And the follow from Winter.
He's down right now. Nolan Winter is down.
Mason,
that's what obviously you don't want to see at this stage of the game.
Mace, do you hear how quiet the stadium got? Like he makes this great follow-up basket, goes down, clutching his ankle, and immediately the whole place gets so quiet because we as Badgers fans know how important Nolan Winter is to this team. I mean, Tommy talks about it all the time. When Nolan Winter gets a double-double, shut the door. Like the party's over. Like the Badgers win.
That just changes the whole complexion of what their March Madness looks like.
Yep. Joining us now on the guest hotline, powered by Gruber Law, one call, that's all. From Madison, the sports director from WMTV, Mike Jocko. Jocko, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. Am I supposed to give a fog report first? Is that
yes?
Is that why you brought me on?
What's the fog in Madison
very,
right
now? Very overcast, very gloomy. Hopefully, we're all hoping, praying, giving good vibes here in Madison for Nolan Winter. But no fog, just overcast. But hopefully, these clouds, they dissipate. A good word, right? Dissipate. It sounds like meteorologist talk.
It's like you're a journalism guy.
And the sun shines, and Nolan Winter appears behind the clouds and says, "Dudes, I'm okay." It was pretty the way his face grimaced, not to be confused with grimace from McDonald's. It looked pretty bad, right? I mean, like his face was that looked pretty bad, although he was holding his high up the ankle. So maybe high ankle sprain, but still that's we're guessing, but that's a couple weeks, 3 weeks,
just
4 weeks, but we're guessing. There's a big tournament coming up, I guess I'm told. But hopefully, they got some good people over there. UW Health is awesome.
Well, Jocko, do you think this team without Nolan Winters has a chance to win a game in the tournament? They'll win a game. Do they have a chance to get to the Sweet 16 without Nolan Winters?
Oh yeah. But the hope was
still optimistic. All right.
I'm an optimistic person.
I know you are.
I'm living on the edge of optimism. So, and Austin Rapp is a great person, a great addition this year. He's come on strong toward the end here. Will Garlock from Middleton has played well in spurts, a freshman, but he's not Nolan Winter. Nolan Winter has brought a new game this year. He's played very well, and like you guys said, he brings a double and game over. But so you're praying for the best, and the way they've looked at times, world beaters, right? And the way they've looked at Oregon, they've gotten beaten by the Ducks, but there is potential for them to go a long ways in this tournament with Nolan Winter. Now there are guys that have stepped up and part of the journey, right? That Nolan Winter went down on senior night, and then they found a way to get things done without him. But I'd rather take my chances with Nolan Winter on that floor. So we shall see that, with him on the Badgers team is a hell of a lot better than without him. So we'll see what happens here in the next, couple of days and see what Greg Gard says when they get the word from the doctors.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they say there. I'm curious about, just in this space, obviously new to this radio thing here for the last year and a half, but looking at Badgers basketball, they're playing Purdue. You lose a guy like Nolan Winter. Does this game matter in kind of seeding and things like that? Or is this Badgers team kind of where they are in that 6-7 seed? Do you sit guys to not like risk like losing someone else, or do you just go out playing just to try to kind of keep momentum going into the tournament here?
Mace, that's a great question. I mean, like now that now that you've played so well on senior night and you had those great vibes from everything, and it was a heck of a. I mean, like it was a hell of a play. Let's be honest. By Nolan Winter, he comes charging down that lane, and I mean the follow through. Although like at that point in the game, it was already a done deal. But you like the way that he was playing. I mean, just to keep playing so hard, and the follow through was awesome. But and you want your guys playing like that, and then. But yeah, you play a team like Purdue, who's all like they're tied for the same spot in the Big Ten standings, and you want your guys playing hard at the end of the year. But we've talked about it before, like the Big Ten tournament does that really matter in as far as seedings goes? I think that you play hard in this game. I don't think guys are gonna necessarily give up or not play as hard, but maybe it is a little bit of a letdown if Nolan Winter can't go or where he is as far as the rest of the season goes. But again, optimistic about where he is and where he can play, whether it's in the Big Ten tournament, whether he's out or whether he can go in the NCAA. So I think they'll go in full guns and try to win at Purdue and then see where they're at as far as the Big Ten tournament goes. But yeah, I think they're playing for not a better seed in the Big Ten tournament, but in the NCAA tournament to get a better seed. I've seen anywhere from 6 to 8. It was 9 for a while, but I think they're anywhere from a solid 6 to an 8. But now with this win last night, and they've kind of rectified where they were against Oregon just a week and a half ago. So,
yeah.
But who knows? Maybe they do make a longer run in that Big Ten tournament, and I think 6 is a good spot for them, and they get an upset and they do make it to the Sweet 16, and like I said, they're world beaters at times, and at times that 3-point shot doesn't fall, and then they're in trouble, especially without Nolan Winter, without a guy. Without a presence inside, and then if they don't have Winter, then they need a guy like Austin Rapp to clean it up inside, or a guy like Will Garlock, a freshman, to make his presence known and to work it inside.
I don't feel so good about this, Mace.
I can tell, Thunder. I can tell you're not as optimistic as Jocko is right now.
No, all of a sudden I'm here in tears, but from the high from one of the great moments last night of Isaac Gard hitting that 3-point shot.
Yeah, that was cool.
Everybody I had to go back to Anchor, but my guy who was down there, my photojournalist Christian, he was down there and he said probably the loudest it's been all season long. The place blew up when Isaac Gard hit the 3-point shot. And I've known,
awesome.
Not only Greg, but Isaac since he was a little kid, and just such a great moment. And you kind of forgot about the whole Nolan Winter thing for a moment, and just the pregame embrace beforehand, and the whole Gard family on the floor. Just a cool moment, and and Greg, he tries to hide his emotions, and it was getting to him, and even Isaac, in front of 17,000 people to try to hide those tears, but and even afterwards when Isaac hit that shot, and Greg kind of turns around to his assistants, and you can see the little bit of tears in his eyes. It was pretty cool, but you just hope for the best for Nolan Winter. So yeah, the optimism it's a little bit hindered, but yeah, they're so good when they're playing so well, but you need that Nolan Winter presence, and Nick Boyd. I mean, I think I've told you guys since July that everybody would fall in love with this kid, just his energy, his enthusiasm. The way he gets the crowd going, it's amazing. That's fun to watch too, and just that he can carry a team too, and just if those shots aren't falling from the outside, the way for him to drive into the lane and to get things going that way. So if those shots aren't falling from the outside, and there's not that presence inside, it's a way to get some points inside by driving in and getting things going that way. So there are ways to carry this team if there isn't that Nolan Winter presence inside to get things going.
All right, Jocko. Man, I appreciate the optimism. I think I feel okay. I still feel okay, but I do want to shift a little focus to the Packers and free agency coming up, and see just kind of what, if you're hearing anything, or from y'all's spot there in Madison. What are you thinking about free agency? They've already started restructuring a few guys, trying to make some moves. What pieces do you think they should try to go after, if any, here in this free agency group?
Yeah, I still think that as far as big pieces to the puzzle, I still think that they need somebody to the linebacker core still needs a little. I still think the defense needs help, right?
Especially if they don't re-sign Quay Walker. I mean, they're going to have to address that.
Right. So I still think on that side of the ball that they're going to need some help as far as that goes. And I think that, the last 3 times we've talked about it, I still think the offensive line, Jordan Love, he doesn't need to be sitting down all the time when he's on offense, when he's on the field. I still think they need to shore up the offensive line. I still think that's a problem. I thought Josh Jacobs had a down year, and I don't think it was Josh Jacobs' fault, so to speak.
What if they go? What are we talking about? The Bears earlier in the show, trading DJ Moore, and we said maybe they might, the Bears might have interest in the Ravens, former Ravens offensive lineman, center. What about the Packers looking at that? Right. If they as of right now, if they don't sign Sean Ryan, if Jenkins is gone because they tried him at center, who is going to play center for this team next year? So that could be somebody that they look at as well.
Right. So I just think, offensive line is a must. Just to get somebody to make sure that Jordan Love is not sitting on his butt, and to help ensure that the running game gets going, to help make sure that Jordan Love, when he is passing, that he gets things going. But anywhere on defense, just to help. But I'd say the linebacking core, and then somebody on the defensive line. So anywhere you stick guys, I think the whole free agency is just wherever Goody signs somebody, and Goody we trust at this point. I think it's
Jocko, do you buy that
all around thing?
Do you buy in Goody we
do
trust?
I buy in Goody we trust? I don't know. Give me maybe 1 or 2 more years, and then I'm going to take my sign down out of our office and maybe not in Goody we trust anymore.
I mean, he went and got Micah Parsons, Josh Jacobs, Xavier McKinney. Those guys have been good. I do think he's actually, other than last year, honestly, we'll see if those end up being total duds of signings, but his free agency signings have been really solid.
Yeah, and that's why I think with when I talk about the defense, sign anybody, but I still think that now that with Micah here, that you need guys that complement him, and that's why I mean sign anybody on defense. I mean that kind of jokingly, but I mean somebody to complement him, whether it be on the other side of him or a linebacker that will put pressure on the quarterback as well, or to help stop the run while he's doing his thing, which is easier said than done, right? I mean, find another guy that really is good as Micah Parsons, but somebody that complements him, somebody that you can trust on the opposite side. Not that there's a million guys out there, but if we're trusting Goody, if we're keeping the sign up, somebody that can help Micah Parsons continue to shine.
Yeah, I agree. A name that just kind of came across that I saw that the Saints are not re-signing, looking to re-sign Cam Jordan. He's going into his 16th year, said he wants to play. He had 10.5 sacks last year. Those are the types of guys that I think this team needs on the field, or even in that locker room. Bring a guy in, try to get a year out of him. What you probably get Cam Jordan for, maybe $10 million a year, something like that. Kick the tires on it, see what happens.
And why not roll the dice on a guy like that? And bring him in a good locker room guy and a guy that will play most of the time when you need him on downs and take your chances on a guy that
I think he played every game last year.
Yeah.
In a year 15, like that's built different in my mind.
He's almost as old as you, Mason.
Exactly. But like I think like he brings some of that, that mentality that like I think the league used to be of you kind of battle and you find a way to get on the field. And I think there's something to be said about having at least one or two of those guys in your locker room just to motivate and push and like, are you hurt or are you injured? It's that old adage, right? Like it's an old school mindset. Like I think for young players now, but it is kind of like it holds true in football and it will hold true forever. Like, are you hurt or are you injured? Can you still give something to this ball club? And I think somebody in that space, like a Cam Jordan would be an awesome fit.
Right. And to keep the Packers always have the youngest guys. Why not bring a veteran guy in there to kind of kick those guys a little bit in the behind and, to motivate them and keep them going in the right direction when need be.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
They, as we've talked about also, Mason, about that butt kicking, they need some, I don't want to say jerks. They need some fire. They need some of that attitude. No more Mr. Nice Guy in the Packers locker room.
Well, I think it's good for sometimes young guys to see someone with some longevity. And then it's like, how do you do that? Because it's not just like what you do on the field on Sundays, it's during the week. Like, how do you keep your body right? How do you do all these things where it's like, how do you become a pro? Because I think I said that quite a bit. I feel like the NFL now is not teaching guys how to be professionals. It's just come in refined, just almost like the NIL in college and transfer portal stuff. Come in a little more refined. We're going to squeeze all the performance and talent that we can out of you. And then you are either going to move on or we're going to move on from you. That's kind of the new system. But I do still think there is something about holding yourself accountable, being a professional. What does that look like? And veterans know that better than anyone. And somebody that can play 16 years on the defensive front has all of that experience. So I think, and Jocko, I'm right there with you. Offensive, defensive line, you can't have enough of those types of big guys that are going to impact your team in a positive way.
Just keep bringing them in. Keep bringing them in.
All right, Mike, Jocko, Jock joining us here on the guest hotline powered by Gruber Law. One call, that's all. Sports director at WMTV in Madison. Jocko, thank you so much for jumping on today. We'll continue with those positive thoughts about Nolan Winter and free agency starts next week. So it's about to get crazy in these parts. Come on, Packers fans, let's go.
All right.
Yeah, we
appreciate you, Jocko.
We need some optimism.
Love you guys.
All right, Jocko, thank you, brother. That's Mike Jocko Jock. Follow him all the places. And, if you ever need an injection of positivity, Mason Crosby, Jocko, he's our guy. Like the Packers could lose 5 in a row. The Brewers could be on a 7-game losing streak. The Bucks could be the worst team in the NBA. Oh, wait, they are. And Jocko's going to talk to us about it. And the Badgers could have an injury. And Jocko's still going to talk to us about how sunny it is outside, even though I can't even see across the parking lot.
I love the positivity. Need that in my life right now.
Speaking of positivity, I got something to play for you when we come back.
All right, let's do it.
I cannot wait. I'm so excited. This is the Mason Crosby Show. This is the Mason Crosby Show. I'm Mitch Nellis, a.k.a. Thunder. He is Mason Crosby. Mace, how's your day yesterday?
Pretty good day. Yeah,
You
hit
get some stuff
golf
done?
balls. Yeah,
Okay.
hit some golf balls.
You got to be playing golf every day.
I'm
Mace,
trying.
you got to get out there.
I'm trying.
We need peak Mason Crosby on the golf course.
It started off poorly, but I went 1 under on the back 9, so that was pretty
all
good.
right,
Yeah.
nice. That's what I like to hear.
It's coming back around.
Speaking of old heads, did you hear what your boy Aaron Rodgers said?
I did hear what he said. Yeah, that was interesting.
Say maybe closer to you. I know you got a good workout schedule. AJ's like 5 a.m. on the Versa climber in there. I'm not doing that, but no, I'm trying to stay fit. I mean, it's harder when you get older, so you kind of can't take the same amount of time off as you used to. After so many seasons, I would take a few weeks off, a month and a half.
Hope this is the edited
now
version.
42, just to stay in shape. You gotta
Stay ready.
Always be dialed in on the diet and sleep and workouts if you want to look the right way. I want to look good. I want my wife to want to me all the time.
All right,
I can't believe he said that.
I got the beep in there.
I can't believe he said that.
I mean, what, dude? It's just Aaron's world. It
is Aaron's world. Honestly,
right,
how that he would say that on national, it's just kind of a little surprising. But
yeah, I mean, it wasn't the live ESPN broadcast.
Oh, so that was the YouTube podcast.
Right. I think it was the YouTube broadcast.
So they can do whatever they want.
Right,
there.
exactly.
But still.
But he had even said before that, man, I don't care if it's ESPN. I don't bleeping care if it's ESPN. I'm going to say it anyway. And then he goes we're all happy for him that he's getting a little nookie from his lady friend. But
that whole thing, it's just still,
what
I mean,
I
get it. Honestly, I in this weird sense, I applaud his ability to still preserve her autonomy and the fact that nobody really knows in this day and age with him being such a superstar is actually fascinating.
Well,
talk about a social experiment that he can keep his wife a secret to the world with all of his stardom. I find that fascinating, and knowing him, that's literally his whole mindset is just how long can I keep this thing going? And yesterday, he gave a little tidbit into who it might be, and everyone's racking their brain
it's somebody he knew from his days in Green Bay, but she said she'd never move there, and so what does that mean?
And then moves across the pond. So I mean, is she obviously, I'm guessing you think England, but
what if she's a huge megastar and they're keeping it secret because of that, and she's not into privacy, but she's into privacy in terms of the relationship?
Yeah.
Would that be shocking if we found out that they're not trying to, because she wants to be a private person, but it's because they're both megastars and they've seen how Aaron's relationships in the past have just been picked apart by the horrible, horrible hordes in the media.
No, it's interesting. And I applaud in this day and age with all the social media, all the things, to be able to keep at least 1 ounce of privacy is kind of fun, I guess.
Is Molly does Molly feel that ever? Is she just that, being married, that we talk about her or people recognize her or recognize you, of course?
No, I think I think she just kind of embraces what it is. And again, it's not to any level of Aaron Rodgers.
No.
So,
I mean, kicker wise, it is among kickers, among that niche audience. Yeah. You're
I got kicker swag. It's fine.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
He's Mason Crosby. I'm Mitch Nellis, a.k.a. Thunder. What, if there was no salary cap, what player, what position do you want the Packers to absolutely fill in free agency? This is the Mason Crosby Show, presented by Verizon.
a Super Bowl champion.
The Green Bay Packers have won the Super Bowl.
The Packers' all-time leading scorer.
A game winner for Mason Crosby.
It's time for the Mason Crosby Show with Mitch Nellis, presented by Verizon, the official 5G network of the Green Bay Packers, on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook, and on the free Odyssey app.
Welcome into hour number 2 of the Mason Crosby Show. I'm Mitch Nellis, a.k.a. Thunder. He is the kicker, Mason Crosby. We are here with you. Tommy Wirtz still doing his thing in Arizona. Brewers manager Pat Murphy was on Tuesday. Brewers president Matt Arnold last night. Who will join Tim Allen and Tommy Wirtz tonight during spring training live from 5 to 7 on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network? Tune in and find out. Ooh, fancy.
Yeah, they've been crushing it down there,
They
man.
have been.
Great interviews. Doing the work. Just enjoying that desert life.
I think Tommy's really torn right now, Mace. I think he loves it down there, but he also misses his life up here. He misses being, doing the show with us, but also doing all the things he's used to doing. You get, 26-year-olds get comfortable. With what they know.
Sure.
So,
like 26 going on, 60 for Tommy. I
exactly.
think, so.
Except sometimes 26 going on 12.
Yeah,
it depends.
He likes his routine. He needs to know what's coming. Yeah,
exactly.
That's like a 60-year-old or like a retiree and a young child. Like they like to know what's coming their way.
That's exactly right. DJ Moore sent from the Bears to the Bills. That'll become official Monday, I assume. Monday at 11 a.m. our time, Central Time, is when free agency opens. And before we get to the free agency conversation, 414-677-1250, if you want to chime in on a dream scenario you have for our Green Bay Packers, whether it's player specific or position. Mason, what do you remember from like the opening of the league year, of the opening of, do rumors start coming in the weekend before of who might be visiting or who the Packers might be signing? Or is it kind of like if you're a free agent, you're into it, but if you're not a free agent, you kind of ignore all the noise? How does that work?
Yeah, I think that's probably some of it is like if you're kind of up or on the heels of a season where that like some moves need to be made, and some things are going to change, especially if like some of your guys, whether it's yourself or someone else on your team is going to be a free agent, you definitely want to kind of you keep your eyes and your ears on it because you want to know what's if those guys are going to get signed or what our team structure is going to look like. So I find it fascinating too, though, when you think about it. I saw Rasheed Walker is expected. He's like the top 5 free agent.
He is number 5 according to ESPN. By the way, he was sitting right in front of me at the Bucks Celtics game Monday night.
Oh,
I
nice.
did not approach. I let him. I don't want to bother him. We actually have some sound from Pat Murphy about how he feels about people asking him. He's very happy when people ask him for an autograph.
Oh, really?
But Rasheed, he's just doing his thing at the game. So, but yeah, I mean, I was a little shocked to see that ESPN had him ranked as the 5th most attractive free agent.
Yeah, and so they just don't feel like they want to go and throw a lot of money at him. Like it's hard whenever you have a guy like that in your building.
Yep.
Where you can try to get an extension and get him signed before anyone else can even, contact him, to let somebody that is seemingly going to get a lot of attention out in the NFL.
He's going to get a bag.
But, I guess in that regard, they've kind of groomed some guys like a Jordan Morgan and all these guys to take over that spot. And that's, and that's the Packers way. It's like, unless it is just your guy that it's like we have to figure out a way to keep them around. They're like, all right, we've built something and now we're gonna roll with this next guy, and good luck to you, Rasheed Walker. Hope you go and have a good career, and then they just don't worry about it.
Well, and I think that's the thing also with Quay Walker, who's ranked 10th. Like if you're 10th, you're gonna get a bag too. Malik Willis at 14th, Romeo Doubs at 19. So 4 guys in the top 20 right now for potentially ranking the free agents.
I could see the Bills go. Do you think now that the Bills did DJ Moore's deal, like Romeo, because I had seen him maybe linked to even going there.
I think it could still. I mean, listen, if they really want to revamp things and create, the maximum Josh Allen experience, they shouldn't be done. Like they have great tight ends and they had nothing at wide receiver.
Great running back.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think it depends. Like, are they going to try to restructure DJ Moore? Like, do you not want to
feel like
pay?
you probably have to. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. So if you restructure him and you can save some money there, maybe they do go after a Romeo Doubs as well. Because if they enter next season with their running backs, with their tight ends, and with DJ Moore and Romeo Doubs at wide receiver, like the Bills are the favorite to come out of the AFC at that point.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah. That gives Josh Allen like the type of weapons that, that he needs, because honestly, with how good they've been over the last few years, not having like some of those elite players at times has actually probably been more impressive than what it would be if they had some of those top guys at some of the key positions.
So listed on this list, they've got Trey Hendrickson, who we talked about a bunch in the first hour. He's number one. Tyler Linderbaum, who we talked about, the center from the Ravens, who maybe the Bears would have interested in now, though he's going to get a big bag. The odds are he's going to go back to Baltimore, but you never know. He's there. Jalen Phillips, the edge for Philly, another 27-year-old. Alec Pierce is somebody probably the Packers don't need. Somebody whose name is probably not on this list because it just happened last night. I was a little surprised that I saw, Mason, that the Giants released Okereke.
Yeah.
And I know, didn't we talk about him like last year?
Yeah, we did.
And
that he'd be a good fit.
Yeah. And as Jocko talked about linebacker, and if the Packers are going to lose Quay, a guy who's just been released, there might be a little bit more wiggle room to sign that guy for a team-friendly contract as opposed to a player-friendly contract.
Yeah, no doubt. That's I'm sure they're kicking the tires on that one. I would say, didn't I see Matt Milano is set to be a free agent as well? Another kind of veteran guy that could be solid. I don't know what he has left in the tank, but has been a good player in this league for a while. It's so interesting. I do believe this is going to be a quieter free agents time for the Packers. Than we've seen the last few years, especially because they went all in, Micah Parsons, because of some of the cap situations, things like that. They're going to make all the possible moves they can. Mm-hmm. But as of right now, you're almost just in the realm of being able to sign all your rookies that you draft and then have just a little bit left over there. But the Packers, I will say, they're not like the Cowboys in that sense where they throw out those things and then they have to restructure contracts all the time. Like Cowboys, just to even get compliant, they had to restructure Dak. They have to restructure CeeDee Lamb. They have to do all of this work all the time and just kind of keep throwing those things into bonuses. The Packers tend to have their plan out 5-6 years where it's like, okay, we can do a few little things, but we're going to be okay. And if we need to spend a little bit more, we're going to do it in this year and go chase something. Mm-hmm. But I'm not sure that they don't have to go chase something to get this thing to where it needs to be. They need to lean in. And I talk about all the time, like the communication up there in Green Bay of just literally straightforward, forthright communication saying, this is what we need from you. Like, this is what you are going to do to help this team get to the next level. And I think that is the most important thing to change some of that culture that's happened up there the last couple of years.
414-677-1250 is the Nicolay Law Talk and Text line. Give us a call or shoot us a text. 414-677-1250. What position or what player that is a free agent would be your dream scenario for the Green Bay Packers? I look at this list, Mason. I see Rasheed Walker. I see Sean Ryan. We've talked about Elton Jenkins potentially being
Let's talk about Elton Jenkins for a moment.
Okay.
Because during the break, I had a thought about Elton. And then I saw some things and, some people talking about it. And it's like, could this be like a huge Packer mistake to like let a player of Elton Jenkins quality walk because you tried him at center, he got hurt, and as a guard, it's undeniable the type of player.
As a guard, he was great. As a guard, he was great. So it's
just like, what is
but you have Banks and Belton.
Yeah, so now is it just another one of those where they've kind of moved on and they've started to establish a new era on that offensive line. But I'm like, if you could, obviously you try to restructure him. He's coming off injury. Yep. I don't know what kind of market he's going to have coming off an ACL and, a year removed from playing guard. So for me, from a player side, they did Elton Jenkins dirty, and they did him a disservice up there.
Absolutely, they did.
Yeah.
Now, there had to be something like I'm sure he didn't protest the move. So I wonder,
but he didn't show up.
No,
he didn't show up
right.
to any of the stuff. So that was kind of a protest.
You're right. I was talking about it with Sparky yesterday, and he was saying that, listen, Jenkins is a center now, and the Packers should bring him back as a center. And I said to him, did you not watch him play football last year? Like, he's not a center. He cannot be brought back. I agree with you, Mason. Like, I like Elton Jenkins. I think he's a really good player, but he's not a center, right? He's a guard. And if they could figure that out, and that's where I think some people said at the beginning or right when the season ended, like, could they get rid of Banks? Like, could they just cut Banks and move Jenkins back to a guard position? But they're still going to need a center, whether it's Sean Ryan or someone else. Like, if Walker and Ryan are gone, and if they do decide to get rid of Jenkins, they need another offensive lineman, don't they, Mace?
For sure. And you're obviously going to add that in the draft. Right. Those are always big time draft priorities, is to go and get a few of those big guys. But with what this team struggles with, they didn't run the ball, as well. They tried to go big with Banks, and they went and got Belton, and they're like, okay, we're gonna be more like the Philadelphia Eagles type offensive line, big and physical, and try to protect the quarterback there and run the ball effectively. Didn't quite work the way that they were hoping, but I do think I think there's a lot of upside, and I think they're excited about Belton, and I think we all should probably be excited about Belton. The question marks are going to be. And Jordan Morgan, I think, showed sparks of improvement and better. He does some better ball. So I think there are some pieces there that we can be excited about. But I do think we sometimes undervalue that center position.
Yes.
It's so important,
clearly, right? Clearly we do.
And then it's just like, if something didn't work, will the Packers be willing to kind of own that decision? Like, you say, it's Aaron Banks is just not going to be the guy that they thought he was going to be.
Yep.
Can they own that and move on from something like that?
Scott from New Berlin, you're going to love this, Mace. Trade Love and maybe another player to the Raiders for Max Crosby and next year's number 1. Sign Malik.
Oh my gosh! Yeah, let's start that whole story.
Well, it saves you $20 million if you go with Malik instead of
there
Jordan.
You go.
Right?
Yeah.
The latest I saw was the Cardinals. Was Arizona is the leader in the clubhouse to sign Malik. Yeah. But
what do you think? Let's talk about that just for one moment too, because I find that fascinating to think that in this era of NFL, if you release Tua and a Kyler Murray and eat their contracts and all of those things and the dead money, this has to be one of the bigger years of teams just saying all right, we overpaid. That was a mistake. We're going to move on. I mean, isn't Tua's number 90 million or something? It's insane
crazy.
What his dead cap run. But the Kyler Murray conversation, because of our baseball stuff, Tommy's out there in the desert, spring training starting. If I'm Kyler Murray, and I've seen some of these articles, he was drafted in I think maybe the first round by the Athletics. They still have his rights in the MLB. You're getting paid $32 million this year, whether you play or not, right? Yeah. I think they owed him that money.
Yep.
So if a team in the NFL doesn't pay you anything, $10+ million, do you go and try to play baseball for a year and see what happens?
How old is he?
28.
That's tough. He could throw in the high 90s.
But what if the A's say hey, we'll pay you, you $3 million. Come see what you can do. I would do that over going and playing. 1.3 and getting rocked, somewhere. Like if somebody only offers you a league minimum deal.
All right. So here's my idea. And I had this idea yesterday on the show, and then we'll get to some phone calls. If you're Kyler Murray, do you think about coming to the Packers? Like just do one year deal, sit behind Jordan Love for 1 year, kind of reinvent yourself, and then go get a Malik Willis type deal next year. I don't know.
Try to see if the Malik Willis path is there.
Exactly.
I saw him tied to Kyler Murray tied to the Vikings as well.
I saw. Yeah,
wouldn't be a bad move for him.
I think it's an upgrade for them, but I don't know if it's quite good enough. Chris is in Muskego. Chris, you're on the Mason Crosby Show.
Hey, gentlemen. I
What's
think
up?
they need people in the trenches. I mean, you got Wyatt, who's nothing but injury prone, and though they extended him, it wasn't his fault his own player rolled up on his ankle and broke it. But his availability in the 4 years he's been there hasn't been nothing. Goody never addressed it when they got rid of Clark for the trade when he could have done it. I don't trust Goody in the draft. He's got Tom in the 5th round, and he got Walker in the 6th or 7th round. Other than that, every offensive lineman he's drafted is either gone or can't make it. Morgan, he's sitting there. This is his 3rd year. He hasn't been able to crack the starting lineup until now. They don't have no choice.
Yeah, we'll find out this year.
But if you take a look at what Goody's drafted, and then you take a look at what Ted Thompson drafted. You had Sitton, you had Balaga, you had the other guy at left tackle, you had Corey Linsley at center, you had offensive linemen. Look what Thompson did with wide receivers. You had Cobb, you had Jones, you had Jordy, you had Jenkins. This guy does not know how to draft, because when you lost Ted Thompson, you also lost Elliott Wolf, you lost Highsmith, and 2 other top
Dorsey, yeah, a lot of guys. You're right. And Ted Thompson
replenished them.
He had 6 GMs on his staff at the same time.
That's Reggie
crazy.
McKenzie.
Yep.
Yeah.
And Schneider, of course.
John Schneider. Yeah.
I mean, absolutely.
And what has Goody got?
Oh.
Goody's got nothing.
John Eric Sullivan, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
Like he was there with Ted Thompson too, though. So,
but Scott, you're right. I mean, there's absolutely, or Chris, I'm sorry, there's absolutely cause for concern here. You bring up some good points for sure.
So you want him to go get you if you had dream lists or like priority, it'd be offensive or defensive line.
Right now, if it were me, I would go offensive line. I would get the ex-Badger, I can never pronounce his name, Bizak or Bizatic, whatever his name is, and play him at center. I'd get rid of Banks. I'd make Elton Jenkins happy, pay him, because you're just going to swap salaries between him and Banks, put him back at left guard, and I'd go out and that's what I do. And in my draft, I'd get me a nose tackle to go along with Wyatt, because you don't know if Wyatt's going to be available. You need guys, because it's 2 guys that they got that's going into their 3rd or 4th year, Brooks and the other guy. They're just guys. They can't even hold up against a good offensive line. They get moved all over the place. You need beef, bulk, and meanness. You have no toughness or meanness on this team. They're a bunch of sissies, in my opinion.
All right, thanks for the call.
Appreciate you.
Somebody texted in. They need a Wayne Simmons on the roster. I mean, you talk about some crazy there. There's some crazy. Ram is on the north side of Milwaukee. Let's go to Ram next here on the Mason Crosby Show.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
What's up?
Ram?
Don't forget, Mason. Hey, I'm with this last caller. I've been a Packer fan going back to the Lynn Dickey years. So, I mean, I've seen my whole high school years, we was happy to be 6-10.
Yeah.
And try to beat Chicago one time.
Right.
Okay. So, now going forward, when Ron Wolf left, when he was there, it was said that he had 100 scouts. And during the games, these scouts will be reporting on talent. I don't care if you played Jocko, he would know. We don't got that now. I think we got this whole DI thing going on. You know, we hire a guy because somebody we like, and we put him in a position. But what are they bringing? Because if he had that many GMs on his staff, that means you got an oracle of people that can identify talent. The Bucks got the same problem. You got okay. So Mason, you in the locker room.
Because the GM's job isn't just identifying talent on the field; it is bringing in talent into that personnel department that you are expecting to lose at some point because of their ability to go and find those players.
Okay, I'm going to ask this last question. You can answer off the air. So as a football player, you watch NFL talent that made it to the Hall, like in your rookie year to the end of the year. So from the sideline, when you're watching these guys perform, just share with the fan base, what did you see? Like, what was the, like, at each position, like when, each week they say, oh, this person you're going to play against the Packers or whatever. What did you see as a professional player that made them separate and why those teams won? Like what was the difference between them than the other players on the team, no matter if they were on the Packers or another team? Like when you say superstar talent as a football player, and I just want to hear your opinion on that.
Yeah, no, that's an interesting question because yes, I mean, again, fortunate enough to play with a lot of those guys. And I think Ted Thompson and what the Packers did was they bring those guys in kind of later in their time, whenever it's almost like identified as these guys are going to be Hall of Famers. They know how to do the work. Charles Woodson, one of the top ones that always comes to mind. That guy literally didn't practice in 2009 and won defensive MVP because of the work he did off the field in the film study, the amount of kind of effort he gave outside of going to practice and just, kind of going through the motions. And I'm not sure, I'm not in that space now, but like those are the things that make the difference. And that is what gets a guy into the Hall of Fame, is all that extra. There's a lot of talent in that locker room in Green Bay. Would we have said anyone on that field last year? Do they have future Hall of Famers on this team? I don't know. I'm not sure if there are any on this team right now.
I totally agree with that. But with the last caller, he made the comment about at center. I agree with what you said. Don't dog Elton Jenkins out. Give him some money, keep him there, because sometimes it's hard to replace something that leaves.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is, I know you disagree with me on this, but I'm gonna say at quarterback, man, we got to draw some straws. We got to have a quarterback camp, just like when Michael Jordan played somebody in one-on-one, no cameras, nobody else, and then after somebody got to come out, and then somebody holding the clipboard, because we got two quarterbacks that are capable. That's been proven. And then the other thing is we got to score more points on offense and be able to get some stops.
Yeah.
So I agree with the edge rusher with what's the name was just saying on the other side. And
go
I
get
know
some big
Micah
defensive tackles.
He's trying to draft people.
Yeah, big guys. Big guys.
Yeah. We need. How tall should they be? As an edge rusher, I'm asking both you guys. Like, so you say edge rusher, somebody can get to the quarterback on each side. Is that a guy that's 6'3", 6'4"?
Well, Micah's not that tall. It's like Micah is just effort and ridiculous athleticism and his work ethic. He is just built different. I don't think there's like a specific size, but for this team, I believe, I don't think they can go pay another edge rusher right now, but I do think you need to shore up. And if there is an opportunity to get a big guy that's available, go get another D tackle. Throw some money at somebody and then tell them, this is what we expect from you. You are going to do the hard work, shore up the run defense, and let Micah Parsons go eat. That's
the last
basically
thing I'm
what
gonna
I
say
would do.
before I hang up, Mason. I think they need you up there to help coach the kickers.
Yes,
All
sir.
right. Yeah.
The whole
I'm just
special
saying.
teams,
I
not
don't
just,
care if you got to
not
get
just
a
the
kid,
kickers, everybody.
I'm just saying, Mason. That's something to think about.
Maybe it's in my future.
All right. I'm just saying. They might need a little help in that department.
Yeah, Mason, we just all love you so much. Like
I know.
We want you.
But how
up
many
there.
jobs can I have? I mean, you want me to
head of the NCAA rules committee,
exactly.
Colorado athletic director,
general manager at Colorado,
right, GM, yep.
Special teams coordinator at Colorado and at the Packers.
The Badgers just hired a new director of operations for the football program. I think I saw a guy from Michigan State, and I immediately saw people like, oh, Michigan State, they stink, right? And Michigan State's football program has stunk the past couple years.
Exactly.
So I don't love that. I don't love that move. All right. Let's talk some Brewers baseball when we come back. Review what happened yesterday. We've got a quick interview that the boys did with David Hamilton, who's going to be kind of the utility guy this year. Dude can fly very fast. Okay. But he also hit a home run this spring, which I didn't think he was going to hit a home run, whether it's a spring or regular season. I thought he'd have a 0 in that category, but we'll take that too.
And Bryce Terang is the best baseball player in the world.
I mean, he's starting for Team USA, and they're destroying everybody. So let's go. So we'll talk some World Baseball Classic as well. Are you into it now? Are you going to get into it? I'll present my case to you, Mason.
I want to hear it.
Because I'm going to sing the Canadian national anthem after their brawl with Mexico yesterday.
Yeah, Did
you see that brawl?
I didn't see
Man,
it.
They were like crushing each other. Like they would not stop. Like they were.
So it means something to these players.
It does.
Like the fact that you're willing to fight in like this time of year is it means something.
It is fun. It is fun to watch. He's Mason Crosby. I'm Mitch Nelson, aka Thunder. We are the Mason Crosby Show, presented by Verizon, the official 5G network of the Green Bay Packers. Let's see if I can do this. Mason, I'm going to turn your mic on. Take it for a second.
This is the Mason Crosby Show, and we are presented by Verizon, the official 5G network of the Green Bay Packers. I don't know what Mitch is doing, but he's trying to figure something out. Tommy is down there, so he hasn't been with us all week, but he's down in Arizona following the Brewers in their spring training, following the WBC. And I Mitch posed this question before we went to break. Are you into the WBC? Do you care? Is it something important? Is it exciting? I'm going to tell you my opinion. Like anything that has to do with like your national team or like like something where you're representing America or Canada or Mexico or it's like those things, those hit different. And you saw it, like you said, the Mexico versus Canada like fight.
Yes,
there's just amazing. Something. There's a different level of pride because you might change teams. You might play it. 4 or 5 MLB teams. You might play, different soccer clubs, all that. That's why World Cup. That's why these WBC. That's why they're trying to get flag football in the Olympics.
Mm-hmm.
You wear that country on your shirt. It's something different because that's like hard to be taken away from you. Right. So
I agree with you, Mason, but man, I got something. I got a little something stuck in my throat and it's just not going away. I feel like you.
I know. Man, I still can't kick it. Like since I had this flu, like I'm like Molly's like, do you need to go back to the doctor? And like we call and they're just like, yeah, this cough, like this stuff just is like lingering.
Mine is food related, and I got to give them a shout out because it's amazing. But then of course, like as I'm like rushing to eat it to get back on the air, that's when I get it stuck. So I agree with you, Mason. I love the name on the front of the jersey. I talked about this yesterday. I love the name on the front of the jersey. I love when it gets intense. I love when it gets interesting. Here's what I don't love. Team USA is joined in their pool by Mexico, Italy, Great Britain, and Brazil. I have no patience for Italy or Great Britain. Like I get that baseball's big in Southeast Asia. It's big in Japan and China and Taipei and South Korea. Yeah, but huge in South America, Venezuela and Dominican Republic and Central America. There's no baseball in Europe. Yeah. Like why? Who invited them? Like what? And the other issue, Mason, is that it's all Americans playing.
You're like playing for like a heritage side of things,
which I kind of like. Like I kind of like that I'm representing my grandma who is Italian.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, not me.
Like if you're not going to be like tapped to be on the USA team, you got an opportunity to still play in this.
I kind of like that, but I just can't get up for this pool play. Like when the Final Four, because the Final Four are
like once the teams that deserve to
US,
be in it,
Puerto Rico, which it's still kind of confusing to me that
that's confusing. Yeah, that's confusing
as a U.S. territory, but not an official state. But when it's U.S., Puerto Rico, Japan, and like the Dominican Republic, right? When they get into the Final Four, or if South Korea sneaks in, like to me, that's exciting. That's when I will go. I will sit down and it's appointment viewing. But right now, it's just not appointment viewing for me. Like I'm paying attention, but I'm just not that into it when there's all these scrub teams. Like I love that Chechia's in it. And there was a story yesterday about like a Chechen pitcher struck out Ohtani. And he is immediately like, they're like building
the best moment of his life.
Right. They're building a statue for him in his hometown. Like he's gonna eat free the rest of his life because he struck out Ohtani. That's awesome. But like, come on. Like, I mean,
well, you got to think. Okay, that's why do you think the NFL is playing all over the world? Right? It is just literally trying to grow the game. It's trying to get some of this attention in Europe and different places because that's the business side of it. Right. That's all this is. Right. This WBC, all these things.
It's just to make money.
It's a business move, which I think is their prerogative, where it's like, okay, if we all of a sudden get 5 kids that watch England play and they decide to go grab a bat and a ball and they all of a sudden get into the MLB here in 10 years. Right. That's pretty cool. Yeah. I mean, there's going to be some cool stories where a kid in the major leagues at some point says, I was watching the World Baseball Classic when I was 8 years old. And I fell in love with the game, and it's not a big sport in my country, but I found a way to get here. Yeah. And for me, I'm like, if that There's one kid that happens to. I'm like, it's worth it in my mind.
I agree with that. On the flip side of things, Mason, we've got the World Cup coming.
Yep.
And so when you talk about these global sporting events, we just had the Olympics. We had the NBA had World versus US. We had the 4 nations in the NHL All-Star game last year. And of course, we had the Olympics this year. I don't know how much you're paying attention. And I sent you this link yesterday. Foxborough is not going to let the World Cup play at Gillette Stadium.
Yeah.
The FIFA has promised $7.8 million to this little hamlet of Foxborough, not New York City, not Chicago, not Montreal or Toronto or Mexico City, but to Foxborough, Massachusetts, which is half an hour away from Boston. It's not like it's right there. And half an hour with no traffic. So it's an hour and a half away, really.
Yeah, exactly.
We
always stayed in Rhode Island.
Exactly. Yeah, it's right. It's much faster to get there from Rhode
Providence.
Island. Because my dad lived down in New Bedford, which was right on the border of Rhode Island.
Yeah.
And he could get to Foxborough way faster the last couple of years of his life than he could when he lived in Boston for sure for the first 60 years of his life. So the World Cup and FIFA, have guaranteed Foxborough $7.8 million in security improvements. And they have delivered not 1 cent. And we are 97 days away from the World Cup. And
That's
so
wild.
Foxborough said, you're not coming.
We're not if you don't show us the money.
Right.
Yeah,
we're not approving the permits to play these games. This is just wild.
That's fascinating.
Yeah. And then
FIFA's it's got so many issues in its own right.
Right.
And I can't imagine, honestly, trying to manage that big of a world sport, right? And all the nuance that goes into that.
Well, is Iran going to get here? Iran has a national team, and they're invited to be part of this. And
that's where FIFA needs to step up. It's like, hey, if we're going to allow have certain countries and certain teams represented, you got to put money out in front of that, right? And say these are going to we feel confident that we can have a safe, good environment for all these teams to come and play. Here's here's that $7 million up front, or here's the $10 million. They have the resources. They got to just they have to get out in front of it.
I know the Iranian women's team is in Australia right now, playing in the Asia Cup.
I sent you that, right?
Yeah, yep.
I thought that was fascinating, and
that they were playing the national their anthem, and they were standing, but nobody was singing along. But I think it's also going to be interesting. I'm guessing there are some players on the Iranian national team, whether it's men's or women's, who support the regime, and others who are vehemently against the regime. And how do they internally figure that out if they are if this is a life and death situation of where they are? I don't wish what's going on in Iran. I don't wish that on anyone. I wish for peace.
Let's just hope there's something that gets at least established prior to the summer, that where people can feel comfortable, and it's the old regime is out and there's something new that's moving into that space.
So back to the World Baseball Classic, because you sent this along too. You sent along one of those funny memes about Aaron Judge next to baseball.
Oh my gosh. Right? I forget how big he is. That's
really
ridiculous.
do, because Ohtani is huge. Ohtani's 6'3", and Judge dwarfs him. I think on the international stage, I think you can make an argument that Judge might be just as big as Ohtani, partly because of how good he is, but also partly because I'm guessing that as they play, whether it's Mexico or Great Britain or Italy, or they play in the Final Four when they get there, guys, especially on the shorter side of those other teams, are going to want to take pictures. You're warming up on the field, and if I'm actually, I don't know how to say this. If I'm actually Italian, if I'm from Italy and I'm playing baseball for the first time in my life, and
you're coming to America,
and I'm coming to America, and I'm playing, and there's Aaron Judge. Man, I'm taking a picture with Aaron Judge, and
for sure.
If I'm and especially if I'm 5'8" or 5'7".
Look how huge this guy is.
Yeah.
Something funny. So Jimmy Graham and one of our athletic trainers, Nate Weir, went as Aaron Judge, and I can't remember.
Jose Altuve?
I think it was that picture that I sent, right? Where, it's like that. And they posed for that and like posted it, but they went as those players for Halloween.
I mean,
because Nate, Nate's pretty short.
He's a little vertically challenged.
Yeah, and Jimmy Graham is, 6. Yeah, I think he's 6'6", 6'7". So, it was funny. Yeah, exactly. But Aaron Judge, I mean, it's just a massive human being. I mean, it's pretty crazy.
And he homered yesterday. And it was like 460 feet, like just destroyed it.
I didn't send you this, but I was watching as I kind of went down that rabbit hole as I saw the Aaron Judge pictures. And then I think it was Skeens, but I don't know. I didn't look at who the pitcher was. I was kind of scrolling through.
Okay.
But the fascinating thing about like a great pitcher like that, the concept was they had 5 initial throws and how grouped together they were, like basically almost 3/4 of the way to the plate.
Okay.
And it's literally it's 5 different pitches that looked exactly the same when it came out of his hand. Like, and it was like, this says how important a good pitcher is and how hard it is to hit a baseball in the major leagues, because literally from the release, the ball, like literally 5 baseballs in like a grouping of probably like 6 inches. And then literally all 5, like 2 went left, 2 went right, and 1 kind of like, was a slider that came up through the middle. And it's just like, how do you judge that? Right. I mean, and again, that's where you're talking about a team from Italy. Yeah. If you literally are an Italian born player and have never,
you've never seen anything like this before.
You come up against Skeens or Scoble, and it's like every pitch looked exactly the same coming out of his hand. And I had no clue what it was about to do.
Did you see this cool thing about Skeens? So when he was in 12U, there was a combined no-hitter in a like a high national game. The pitchers in the no-hitter were Pete Crow Armstrong, PCA, who we hate from the Cubs, and Mason Wynn, who's like an up-and-coming shortstop with the Cardinals.
Nice.
Okay, they were the pitchers. Paul Skeens was the catcher.
Yeah, he was.
Like that's how good that team was.
Yeah.
And Skeens, I guess Skeens was primarily a catcher before he became a dominant pitcher. He was known more as a catcher growing up.
But you hear that, so there you go. Great baseball player. You find that niche. Like I was listening to this podcast the other day. It was in the soccer space, and it is like the frustration, I think, sometimes as a soccer fan, why the USA doesn't dominate more on the world stage in soccer.
Right.
But it's also, I think it's a philosophy of how USA and like the national team scouting and like how they look at things, and why players don't stick with soccer. Because there was always this old kind of mindset where if you're 13 and you haven't gone through puberty and you're not like the best player, then it's just kind of like you don't have a shot.
Right.
And I do think that is changing though.
Is it?
Like they are, they're trying to allow these players, and like the US national team now is looking for late developing players that stick with the game and actually like, at 16 to 18 have like now matured and like found their footing, right?
Yep.
Because I think it was for so long there, it was like, if you're not one of the best players in the country at 13, why keep playing soccer? Like that was that's kind of the mindset here in the States.
Well, hopefully that's changing. You know who I always said I thought would be an amazing soccer player? And obviously he was an amazing basketball player, so it didn't matter. Like Allen Iverson.
Yeah.
Allen Iverson was just like that type of athlete that I think if he had played soccer his whole life, would have been a world-class soccer player. Now, he was a world-class basketball player, too.
For sure.
So maybe he was just a world-class athlete. But just the way he moved and glided on the court. Like, I was like, man, Iverson, soccer.
Yeah. And you think about the America, like the choice is the beauty of what we have. You have an option, an opportunity to play all these sports. A lot of these countries, it's just not even it's just not even an option.
But you're right. We do need a few more people playing soccer just for national pride. Like it's and I'm not, me, I'm not a huge soccer fan, but I'd be a bigger fan if our national team was better.
Well, sure. And then
like it's awesome that our women are great and they should be. But like I'd like our men to be great too.
Because isn't it as Antonio Freeman's son is
yes, he is
one of the top guys on the national team
and
now.
Dennis Rodman's daughter.
Yeah. So you're seeing this now. And I heard from like an academy guy here in Nashville, and he was like, we are starting to look at like genetics.
Yeah. You have
Like
to.
for some of these kids where it's like, has your parent, someone in your family been a great athlete down the line? And I think that's the mindset of now. It's not the 13-year-old that just matured and he's dominating everybody. It's like, can this kid become what, a uncle or a parent or someone else has been?
Yep.
And I think that's the right mindset, right?
No, I think that's right.
In Europe and internationally, they've done that forever. It's like, does that lineage speak to what it is? And I think in all sports, that's a good mindset to have.
We're going to wrap things up. We got a quick Mason's extra points to get to. I've got a couple things. Mason always has a couple things. We'll get to that when we come back here on the Mason Crosby Show, presented by Verizon.
Yep.
What's on Mason Crosby's mind today?
Now I'm thinking.
It's time for Extra Points, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook on the Mason Crosby Show with Mitch Nellis.
Tell me what's on your mind.
On the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network.
All right. Thanks for listening to the Mason Crosby Show. As the nice lady said, we are presented by Verizon, official 5G network of the Green Bay Packers.
She is a nice lady.
She is a nice lady.
She is a nice. I don't know her, but
Do you know who she is?
No, but I've seen her picture.
Okay.
That's all I got.
Yeah, Mitch, what you got? I'm curious what you're thinking.
Wisconsin's Best Burger Contest is in full beefy swing, and I got to give a shout out to our friends at Potawatomi, the burger company inside Potawatomi Marketplace. The smash burgers are unbelievable. I've had them before with our friend Jay Saunders. They brought in some sliders today. So giving a shout out, if you have a chance to vote in the Wisconsin's Best Burger Contest, there's QR codes all over the place. Vote for Potawatomi. Their smash burgers are smash.
They're smashing.
Yeah, they are.
All right. Well, we get to do it one more time this week, tomorrow.
I can't wait.
Fridays are always fun.
Yeah,
Fridays are great.
We'll get Tommy on tomorrow too.
I know he's got to be itching to get back to Wisconsin. I mean, I don't think he's used to being gone this long.
No, he's definitely not. He definitely misses mommy Tommy.
That's right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, hey, everybody, have a great rest of your Thursday, and we'll do it again tomorrow.
Mace, there's nothing wrong with missing your mom.
No, there's nothing.
We all love our moms, right?
For sure.
Yeah, we all have great moms, and
no doubt.
Absolutely. Let's see. Not a whole lot going on tonight, but it's March, so there's college basketball somewhere.
Yeah.
Right? And so we'll be keeping track on Nolan Winter's progress, what that MRI says, and hoping
hope for the best.
Yes, quick recovery. He's Mason Crosby. I'm Mitch Nellis, a.k.a. Thunder. We are the Mason Crosby Show, presented by Verizon, the official 5G network of the Green Bay Packers. Of course, shout out to our friends at the Potawatomi Sportsbook and at the Burger Company inside Potawatomi Marketplace as well. Jason Tatum coming back? You saw that?
I saw that.
Man.
Yeah.
Oh, all right.
Impressive.
It's the Mason Crosby Show.